at the school, this message has, people have not loved this one. At the end of this message, normally they go, string me up on a tree and throw rotten eggs at me. So I expect nothing less, even from you. I just want to, with the preamble, say that I want to share something with you that is my calibration and walk with God, my orientation. And I have ministered this to God's people now for a very, very long time. And as I take you through this text and challenge you on a couple of things, you better believe me that to this day, this challenges me. This is a message God gave me that I studied, that I mined. I'm not sure you're going to read this in a book. I may not put this ever in a book because I will get really bad press for this. I could just imagine the amount of hate mail. So as I minister this, I'm giving you a snapshot of God's personal dealings with me. If the shoe fits, wear it. And I suppose the shoe fits for a lot of people year in and year out, because afterwards they just get angry with me. And they ghost me because of this message. Only for some time later to come back and say, what was that message again? Could you give me the Cliff Notes again? So, I want to talk to you about something that God challenges me consistently in as I walk with Him. I love Him, I adore God. My whole life belongs to God, lock, stock, and barrel. But He doesn't overlook things in my life just because my life belongs to Him. It's almost as though He intensifies His scrutiny because I walk with Him. And the Lord challenges me, confronts me, disciplines me on innumerable things, but this one is always at the forefront. And I wonder perhaps if it may be an issue between you and God also. You're saved. You're going to go to heaven. All that is good. Okay, so we get that. But it's here for me where your walk with God is going to pick up rhythm. Certainly for me, this is where my walk with God loses rhythm. I want to talk to you about your motivation for loving God. In other words, why do you love God? Why do you walk with Him? Why do you do really what you do? Why do you really pray? Why do you really read your Bible? Really? That thing where you get up in the morning and you have some 10 minutes, 15 minutes where you sit down. Why do you really do that? Going on that mission trip? Why? Do you really go on that trip? Attend this meeting, work at that place, come to this place? I'm going to share this lesson from my perspective. If the shoe fits, so be it. But first, let me illustrate what I am wanting to hint at. As a parent, I'm now of age to be able to discern when my kids really want to spend time with me or whether they are manipulative. Did they really want to give me that compliment, my jeans are nice? Or is it that they want something from me? And as a parent, you can just discern that so quickly from your children. And of course, it's my pleasure to give them that ice cream. I can't wait to give them that pair of shoes and that cap and t-shirt and new set of pins. Never mind that we have 10 billion that's not been used. But it's my joy to give them yet another 36 random colors. It's my joy. But when they come to me and they're like, "Oh, Daddy, your hair is really nicely combed today." Parents have they've got a nose they can sniff. There's a motive here. There's an ulterior motive. "Come look, Dad, I cleaned up my room." Really? Really, you cleaned up your room? Or is it that you want to go out, spend the night? So, on the human level, we learn from a young age to be manipulative. That is, to get what I want. I still do that as an adult. I do that without fail. Now, if we do that on the human level with one another, even with the people we love the most, the Lord, in a way, chastised me some time ago, disciplined me. That is, really meant business with me, that when I come to Him, and if I want pencils from Him, I should just ask, "God, please give me 96 new pencils." And it's His pleasure to give me the 96. Just don't come to God with pretentiousness, flattery, some kind of a fast sacrifice. "Lord, I gave $100 to Billy Bob. Would you now give me 96 pencils in return?" That's called bartering. That's called manipulation. And I do this with God. "Lord, I fasted for 21 days. Look how much I love you. But really, really, I want something back from you. So my fast was a kind of a gift to you so that you can just boomerang that gift right back to me." Guys, I'm not talking about you now. I'm talking about me. I ran into a wall with God year in and year out, perhaps like you, and I could not figure what is keeping me from entering into a deeper reality with God. What is hindering me? And the Lord stood still with me on this particular issue. "My son, if you fast, then let it just be for the sake of the fast. Don't have some backdoor alternative agenda. If you give all your money, then give it all and do it with a happy heart and have fun doing it. Don't have some alternative agenda. Lord, if I give you my summer, then this fall, will you give me that job?" Quid quo pro. That's called spiritual bartering. For me, the Lord enlightened me, shone a spotlight on the condition of my heart. I didn't really just want to spend time in prayer and enjoy God's company. No, I needed a revelation. I loved revelation more than company with God. I didn't really read the Bible to just enjoy the Lord and just talk to God. I really needed wisdom, insight, revelation, a nugget, a dot connected, so I can tweet about it so all of you can see how close I am to God. So I didn't really enjoy time with God. I needed a photo opportunity of my journal so that you can see God and I get along really well. What was I really after? The praise of, the attention of, the validation, the applause. This is the stuff I have had to work through. Guys, I'm still working through this. And it came because I read a particular small passage in John's Gospel that I'm going to bring to your attention, and it has troubled me ever since. The lesson is practical. This applies to me today. I don't have to pray too much about this lesson or study it too much. It's not too abstract. This is a lesson of just What are the motives for what I do in my walk with God? Okay. Back in the Old Testament, Genesis 15, God told Abraham, I am your exceedingly great reward. You get me for walking with me. And Abraham said, what will you give me? Are you going to give me a child? A nation? What will you give to me? And God already just gave God to Abraham. And still it wasn't good enough. Abraham wanted a family. Rightfully so. He wants offspring. Rightfully so. But he was not purely walking with God at that time. Purely. Out of reverence and awe and fear and adoration just towards God. It took his whole life to bring him into that. You may remember in Genesis 22, when he put Isaac on the altar and was very much willing to plunge a dagger into the heart of that boy, God restricted him. There was a substitute offering. And when God spoke these words, now I know that you fear me. You can also discern in those words of God in Genesis 22. Now I know, Abraham, that you do all things just really for my sake. Prior to that, Abraham loved God, he believed in God, but he wasn't really at all times pure in his motive. And God even took him to a crucifixion. God took him to a catastrophic, traumatic crossroads in his own life to really see, does this man serve me for just me, or does he serve me because of the boy that I gave him and the mighty nation I can bring from him? What's this man's motive? So let's put it to the test and let him kill the very son I gave him, so I can sift, screen, and discern. Is he really walking with just me for my sake? Or is he walking with me because he can go to heaven, he can get a wife out of this ordeal, he can get money and prosperity from this? Why did you really go to church on Sunday? Was it to see Susie? There's no real problem with that. Then say to God, I'm going to that place with those Christians so I can go see if Susie is available. God can respect that. I think he's big enough to respect that because he wants you to go see Susie. It's not good for a man to be Yeah, he wants you to meet Susie. He just don't want you to go there and say, oh Jesus, I love you. Susie, where you be at? A double-minded man can receive nothing from God. You're unstable in all of your ways, the book of James would teach us. It's that motive, that double-mindedness that have blocked me at times from really, really, really enjoying God. No, I enjoy the goosebumps God gives me. I want to levitate in my prayer closet. That's what I really want. And so when I don't have the goosebump and levitate and fall out, then at times I just feel like God has left me and forsaken me. Because I didn't really enjoy God, I enjoy the feeling I get. I want the power. Give me the healing. I want to be prophetic. I want to be spectacular. And I love that sometimes more than I love God. All that, beloved, is what this lesson is all about. What is my real motive? All right, on the top there from the Message Bible, we read this at a previous time where David repents before the Lord and he says that the Lord desires truth in my inward parts. No pretension, no mask, no ulterior motive, authenticity, reality. Notice how the Message Bible puts it. Going through the motions doesn't please God. A flawless performance is nothing to you. I learned God worship when my pride was shattered. Heart shattered lives ready for love. Don't for a moment escape God's notice. And there's the word I want to capitalize on. The proverb says the spirit of a man is a lamp, and the Lord searches that lamp. And He sees the inward condition. He wants to take notice. What is my truest, deepest motive for doing what I do? And here David says God is noticing. He's searching. In Psalm 139, search me, God, and know my heart, and see if there is any wicked way within me. The psalmist tapped into this searching God, this noticing God, this scrutinizing God. Jehovah. Scrutinize a lot. That's his name. Jehovah Peekaboo. He's going to peek into my mishmash jambalaya motivation for walking with Him. All right. Bottom line is motives matter to God. Point number one, God screens and sifts our motives in every interaction we have with Him. I know I wrote this in a very strong kind of a way. Every interaction. In a way, my radars are just up at all times with my kids. Now, my kids have pure hearts, I have to confess. But occasionally, I can just sense their motives are off. They're not really just hugging me because they hug Dad. They really want to go to the Dollar General. So, God, in a way, He loves you, you love Him, that's understood. But He wants to notice, really, why do you do what you do? When we have ulterior motives, like a spiritual transaction mentality, or God is a slot machine, I put in the coin, He owes me a payout. If we have those ulterior motives with God, then in a way you can be sure that God is going to expose those motives. Because God is the truth. God is real, genuine. And those who worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in. God is real. There's no pretentiousness with God. He just is. And that's the interaction. He just wants me to be honest. God, I'm angry today. Don't say, God, life is so good, I praise you, when you're actually just angry. I think God would potentially appreciate, I don't want to put words in God's mouth, got to be careful, but what if He appreciates where you just say to Him, God, I'm really angry, and just, that's what you are. Instead of trying to fluff it all up. That's what I think God has done with me. And I wonder if you want to go on with God, you really want to pick up rhythm, speed, intensity with your Lord, I just wonder if you will experience this too. God is truth, and He's looking for truth in the inward parts. Now, turn to this awful passage in John chapter 2. And let me show you what goes on here for a second. When I came across this passage long ago, it really smoked me. That's a cultural colloquialism for it had an impact on me, just so that y'all know what I mean by that. People, that was a joke, man. Hello, are you here? All right. I want to briefly tell you what happens in John chapter 2, so that at the end of John, starting here in verses 23 of chapter 2, you can pick up a little bit more of the depth of the context, okay? In John chapter 2, there are more or less three sort of things happening. First of all, there's a wedding where Jesus turns the water into wine. And I can just imagine a lot of people love this version of Jesus. Yay! Life is perpetual happy hour. Amen! And the wine just keeps flowing. And I wonder if a lot of people just begin to wonder, gosh, what if this guy is the Messiah? Because we can have unending blessing from him and celebration and merrymaking. And of course, he provides that for us. You know, all these living waters flowing, all this unending bread that we can eat that is so satisfying. This is the water into wine. Celebration, merrymaking, enjoyment. And walking with God should be such an experience. But I wonder if a lot of people only walked with Jesus because he was a bartender without a liquor license. We know from the other Gospels that a lot of people only followed the Lord because he gave them bread. He multiplied bread. Their enjoyment of Jesus was not Jesus. Their enjoyment was wine. Their enjoyment was the bread and the fish, the loaves and the fish that he could give them. And be able to dry that